Yo, what's up everyone? This is Anime Mafia here with a new anime what if. Welcome. I am finally back from my little hiatus. As you can see, my long awaited project has now finally been complete after weeks and weeks of script writing. No, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how long it took me to get this done. Believe me, this is not your usual what if, because that's how good of a story UnOrdinary is. So if you guys haven't read UnOrdinary on Webtoon, I highly suggest you do. It's a really good story. And I highly suggest you do read UnOrdinary, because it's actually good despite its flaws. It's a really good story and a really good read. So this is my first episode of What If Izuku was in UnOrdinary, My UnOrdinary Academia, whichever you want to call it. It's basically my new story I've now picked up on and my first introduction into podcasting. Without further ado, let's get into this. Are all people truly equal? That's a question I wondered to myself when I was younger. I got my answer pretty quickly. No. Not all men are truly equal. Izuku was pushed back as he was on the ground. "What's wrong, Deku?" a spiky ashen-haired blonde had said. "This piece of crap right here is my bully Katsuki Bakugo. You want to wonder how I'm in this situation? Right? Let's dial it back a bit. We see Hisashi Midoriya and Inko Midoriya. Not that far. Yeah, right there. Around a few years before the event you saw, we humans had developed these things called abilities. Superpowers, meta abilities, individualities, quirks, whatever the hell you want to call them. These are the basis of my world, but whatever the hell you want to call them. These abilities came from aura, which most people naturally have through their aura channels. There's the percentile that doesn't have the abilities, the cripples. I myself was one of them till I awakened these powers I'm well known for. Let's get to this section of the story. My childhood? I was born July 15th to my loving mother Inko Midoriya and my estranged father Hisashi Midoriya. I was born to a fairly normal family and they weren't that high in the food chain. All I had was my mother and books. And that's about it. I did admire one thing though. Superheroes. Well, vigilantes to be more precise, but that part of the story isn't until later. I looked up to the heroes we'd see in fairy tales, or things of that nature, but this isn't where my story starts. My childhood. Man, does it take me back. The good and bad days were somewhat worth living. We now see a younger Izuku walking with a blonde-haired boy right next to him. The blonde hair to the left is Adrian, and the guy with jet black hair and golden eyes is John. He's my best friend. John, Adrian, and Izuku, the three grew up in New Boston. So they naturally attracted each other and became an inseparable trio. Even though Izuku was the weakest out of the trio, he shared one thing in common with John. He was also a cripple. We now flash back to a younger Izuku who arrived at the doctor with his mother. He was so happy, so filled with energy and life and vigor. He was wondering if he would awaken his ability, or maybe his ability as he thinks he's pretty smart for his age. Izuku muttered. As Inko had asked the doctor to run some tests on Izuku, he showed no signs of an ability compared to the kids his age. As the doctor ran some tests and used his ability to scan for aura and an ability, the doctor had told Izuku and Inko some harrowing news. Unfortunately, I'm sorry to be the one to say this, miss. Your son is a cripple. He's powerless. I'm sorry to tell you this, the doctor had said. Izuku made a blank expression. Over time, Izuku had met John at a young age. They bonded on how they were both powerless and became an inseparable duo. Bakugo was yelling and was bullying John and Adrian, as even with Adrian trying to fight to protect John, Izuku yelled out, "Leave them alone!" yelled the Green Ant boy. "And what are you going to do, Deku? It's time to learn your place in the hierarchy. You useless piece of trash." Bakugo threw an explosion. "He took out!" Adrian screamed out. One of Bakugo's lackeys held Adrian down, and they were engaging in a fight. John tried to tackle Bakugo, but to no avail. Izuku screamed out, "John!" Katsuki then blew up John, and then grabbed Izuku and blew him up his rope. "What's wrong, Deku? We were talking all that good shit a second ago." Bakugo punched Izuku in the stomach. A few hours later, Izuku was on the ground. That was the day when I learned about the shitty hierarchy and its true nature. And most importantly, equality is and always will be a fucking joke, Deku had screamed out. That was basically most of my grade school years in a nutshell, folks. Anyways, moving on, we now enter Izuku's early middle school years. Izuku was, for lack of a better word, getting violated by bullies once again. Izuku had tried to put up more of a fight. This time, it didn't help. But to no end, Izuku was bloodied and bruised. John had tried to help him, but that didn't stop the bullies. "Damn, don't these bastards have anything else better to do?" Izuku yelled out. "Why us?" Izuku pulled the ground hard. Tears were dripping down Izuku's eyes. John was bruised black and blue. Izuku was then tapped on the back by someone. He was about to scream at the person, as he then looked to see the bright green-haired girl like himself. She had a bandage on the left side of her cheek. She had a white handkerchief in her hand. "You look like you could use a hand." Izuku had then quickly dried his tears with his arm and took the handkerchief. "Thank you," Izuku muttered. "Oliver and his gang are jerks, right?" the woman had said rhetorically. Izuku took the handkerchief and gave it to John instead. John had a bloody nose, and Izuku wiped it away, as Claire and Izuku helped John up to his feet. "Thanks, I really needed that, Izu. Frick, Oliver." "Don't worry, you'll be fine," Izuku says he tried to smile. "Easy for you to say. You're just like me, with no ability." "I know it sucks. People avoid you and I like the plague or something. Anyways, thanks, lady, for the help. Really, it's no problem. This is my first time seeing you here, by the way," Izuku noticed. "It's my first week here in New Boston Middle School. Let's start with introductions. I'm Izuku Midoriya. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. My name is John. It's Claire. It's nice to meet you, Izuku, John." On that day, we introduced ourselves. We introduced Claire to Adrian. On that fateful day, I gained 4 loyal friends with a friendship that could last for a lifetime. We became an inseparable quintet. We now flash forward to a few years into the Central Quintet's adventures. Izuku had grown a little more. He maintained high grades as he was one of the smartest in his class, and things were going great, until a chain of unfortunate events came into play. Katsuki Bakugo is a very promising student next to Izuku. The teacher had then said, "You guys should start thinking about your futures." "Oh, who am I kidding? I know you all want to go to Wellston. Teach, don't let me up with these losers. You already know I'm the only one going to Wellston from this shitty school," Bakugo yelled out, with explosions coming out of his palms. Bakugo's grades were pretty good. "Oh yeah. Izuku, aren't you applying for Wellston as well?" Bakugo made a blank expression, and then blew up Izuku's desk. Bakugo glared at Izuku as the class looked at him as well, and some of them were laughing. You're going to Wellston? Deku? You're going to Wellston? Well, yeah, Izuku said with a little backbone. He grew tired of taking Bakugo's shit over the years, of bullying. You trying to mock me, Deku? Besides, your grades might be higher than mine, but without an ability, you ain't shit. You're a cripple, along with that golden-eyed friend of yours. Hey man, fuck you. John flipped Bakugo off. After classes had ended, Izuku was writing in his books as usual, as he found the abilities of Aura to be quite interesting. He was thinking what his abilities could be if he ever awakened them, which is most likely not, but it was nice to dream a little and escape from the harsh hierarchy. Bakugo had taken Izuku's notebook and blew it up. Hey, that was my latest one! Bakugo, yo, you asshole! What'd you call me, you damn nerd? Yeah, your friends ain't here to save you now, you nerd! Izuku was getting assaulted by Bakugo and his lackeys. They assaulted him. You think you can go to Wellston? You think you damn cripple? Bakugo threw an explosion. They're beating the crap out of Izuku. Bakugo was laughing along with his lackeys. Izuku had tried to struggle and put up a fight, but to no avail. It was no use, as Bakugo had then told Izuku this. Hey Deku! He kicked Izuku lightly. You want a power so badly? You want an ability so badly? I think I know an easy way for you to get one. Just take a swan dive out the roof, and pray you get an ability in your next life. You fucking cripple. Izuku glared at Bakugo as he left the classroom. We now time to get to Izuku walking with a blank expression on his face. He was so done with everything in the world. This hierarchy, for all he cares, everything could go to hell. Izuku had picked up his burnt notebook and then encountered John, Claire, and Adrian. Izuku. Oh my god, what happened to you? Are you okay? Claire had asked. It was Bakugo, wasn't it? Adrian said. They would try to patch Izuku up, but Izuku said he was fine. Izu, you sure? You sure? Let's walk you back to my place, John said. Izuku walked back with John, Adrian, and Claire, but he had a depressed look on his face. He didn't have it in him to cry. He was still thinking about what Bakugo had said to him. Take a swan dive out the roof, and pray you have an ability in your next life. Should you do it? Izuku, John said as he brought the rest of his friends into his home. Izuku! Adrian yelled out. Izuku! Claire shook him this time. Huh? Oh. Sorry. I'm causing you so much trouble. I can't even respond to the call of my name, Izuku said in a dead tone. John had brought the first aid kit and patched up Izuku a little bit. As he was cleaning out his burns, it was nothing what the first aid kit couldn't handle, and it was surprisingly not that bad. Izuku was still wondering, should I do it? Should I just put it into myself? I mean, it's not like it matters. I have no power. I have nothing. I have nothing to contribute to this hierarchy. If I put an end to myself, it's not like it would matter. It's not like it would matter in my life. What has it been? After the endless amount of bullying, the thousands of insults, the consistent shunning, my mother probably thinks I'm useless too. A useless, powerless Deku. As Izuku made a depressed look on his face, he then told his friends, "Thank you," for patching him up. As Izuku was about to leave, Claire tugged at his shirt. Wait, Izuku, are you sure you're okay? I'm fine. I'm just tired. Really tired. Izuku wanted to walk home. I'll walk home with you, Claire had said. I'm fine. I just need some time alone, okay? As Claire was about to refute, John quickly stopped her. Claire, just leave him, John said, as Izuku walked home by himself. He hated this futile existence of his, this shallow way of just existing only to be hurt because of something that was out of his control. Izuku was starting to grow numb. It was the weekend. For Izuku, this would mean he'd hang out with his friends, right? But he chose not to. Izuku had decided to skip hanging out with his friends. He just woke up and was called down for breakfast. After breakfast, Izuku went out to go to the library, went for some books to read. As Izuku entered the library, he wondered to himself, he's probably going to get books for school, as there really wouldn't be anything interesting for him at the moment. Yes, this scene was memorable even for me. This day is a day I remember fondly. This was the day I met him. He was my first teacher, my first idol, the first person I could possibly consider a brother. As Izuku walked out, he saw a group of Bakugo's lackeys. "Oh, is that Deku?" one of them said. "It is him. Hey, Deku," one of the lackeys had said. "Oh, what do you want? Oh, Tatsumi. How can I help you?" Izuku had asked as he took a step back. "I just want to see my favorite cripple in the whole wide world," Tatsumi said in a sarcastic way. "Besides, I want you to give me some money to help out your friends. As far as I'm concerned, I hate you guys," Izuku muttered. "Huh? What was that, Deku?" "Yeah, we didn't hear you," another one of the lackeys said. "Speak up." Izuku knows he's outnumbered. He doesn't know what to do. He could take one of them on. He could take one of them, but not all of them at once. As they all gathered around Izuku, Tatsumi had said, "Man, I really wish you took Bakugo's advice. Get him, guys!" Izuku tried to fight back a little, but he was once again humiliated. His struggles were reduced to zero, as he found no point in doing this. Fighting back, he secretly hoped anyone, would come to save him. "Hey, leave him alone," a voice was heard. Izuku looked to see who the voice came from, where it came from. It was from a tall, handsome-looking brunette like himself. He had yellow eyes and had a brighter shade of green on his head. "And who the fuck are you supposed to be?" "Me?" The green-haired boy pointed at himself with his thumb. "I'm his backup." "Oh shit, yo guys, look over here, we got ourselves a superhero over here, man. Get this bastard," Tatsumi had ordered his lackeys. The boy crackled with electricity and said, "Yeah, no." The lackeys had activated their abilities. One of them had an earth-based ability. His hands turned into a rocky fist. "Come and get it, you heroic bastard." The others ganged up on the man known as Backup. And yeah, I'm electrocuting your asses. The solitary hero ran through the low and mid tiers with ease. What? Easy? This guy just ran through the middle school students with ease. You ran through what? 6 weaklings? I'll have you know I'm the strongest, you damn heroic bastard. Level Tatsumi. Level 4.2. Ability, air cannon. Allows him to shoot pressurized air cannons from both of his palms. "Hey, you want to be a hero so bad?" Tatsumi asked as he aimed his palm. "Don't you know? Heroes die." "Look out!" Izuku's body moved on its own. Izuku ran towards his fellow green-haired savior and took the blow, praying that he could have saved his savior, praying that it could have killed him. He just wanted a reason to die. As Izuku took the blow of the attack, "Ah man, I wish I killed that crippled Deku," Tatsumi said. No matter, I'll just try again." Izuku was on the ground, now hugging his fractured ribs and a few other fractured limbs. His fellow greenette asked, "Kid, why did you..." "I don't even know. Why myself? My body just moved on its own. I didn't even know my legs were moving." Izuku had lost consciousness. "Oh, he's dead. Finally. Triple is getting old fast. I'm about to tell Baku I beat him to the... Tell Baku sorry I beat him to the bush. The brighter green-haired boy had gotten enraged, though as the lightning crackled around him. You're gonna pay for that, you bastard! The greenette boiled with anger and shot an electric blast. He sped up and blasted lightning blasts. The air cannon clashed. The greenette, stunned, covered his body with electricity. It's time to end this! He electrocuted Tatsumi in full power. Yeah, he was fried. He was definitely fried. Tatsumi was on the ground unconscious. The bright green-haired boy spat some blood out of his mouth. That was some work. Hey kid. Kid, wake up. The fellow greenette checked Izuku's pulse. He learned to Izuku's heartbeat. He listened to Izuku's heartbeat. It was still beating. Kid ain't dead, the boy had said. Time to get him back to my place. I might as well since I could patch him up. His injuries aren't that bad, and I do owe him for saving my life. The bright-haired greenette boy had picked him up and piggybacked him. A few hours later, groaned Izuku. Oh shit. Oh crap. Oh, what happened to me? I can't feel my ribs. Wait, am I dead? No, I don't think dead people can feel pain after dying. So Izuku thought to himself, wait, my ghost? No, I don't think ghosts can feel any... He then hears some creaking as he then sees he's in a bed that isn't his own. Wait, where am I? This isn't my house. A girl about Izuku's age with pink hair and amber eyes had approached him. Oh, you're awake, Greenie. Hey, Ray! The kid's awake, the girl had said. Oh, he is? Ray came dashing through the door. Oh, hey, kid. You're awake. Are you feeling alright? Izuku couldn't reply. I'm fine, Izuku said. You sure? I mean, you know you got your clock cleaned and all. Oh, right. Izuku said, hey, don't look so down. I mean, you took a blow for me. Don't beat yourself up about it. The boy called Ray as he patted Izuku on the back. Said, ow. Oh, sorry, did I pat you too hard? Izuku was clutching his back, which was pretty stiff. No worries. You weren't wounded badly, surprisingly. I gave you a little painkiller. You should be fine. Yeah, thanks. There was an awkward silence between the three. So, got a name, kid? It's Izuku. Midoriya. There was an awkward silence between the three. That's a funny last name. The name's Ray, kid. Anyways, Izuku, so why did you save me, by the way? Ray asked. Save you? Oh, I should be asking you that question, Ray. Mr. Ray, why did you save me? Raiden said you were getting bullied by those bullies and you looked like you could use a friend, so there's your answer. Oh, that's just for me. Izuku's never felt this way before. Why would someone save him? A guy like him? A useless Deku? He just didn't know the answer as he sought back to think about it. Everything that has happened in his life sucked. He gets beat on by bullies daily. His friends and mother are the only thing that keeps him remotely sane. And over time, I just grew numb. I felt worthless. Truly worthless. What was my purpose for living? I was insulted and I felt like a piece of shit. But when I saved Mr. Ray, I felt something. That feeling I felt for the first time in my pitiful existence, I was proud of myself. Accomplished even. I wanted to save someone with my own two hands with an ability or not. I moved all on my own and managed to protect something. Ray looked at Izuku's face for the first time, and for the first time the green-haired boy broke into a smile. A smile filled with accomplishment. While Ray couldn't know what Izuku's been through, all he could see was this kid. He could see it in his eyes that he felt accomplished. He felt happiness. He wasn't useless and saved someone's life. Even for a brief moment. Izuku had tears in his eyes. Izuku, Ray said nervously. I know, Izuku had said. It's just that I couldn't help it. It's a bad habit of mine, really. Izuku chuckled a bit as his tears of hope and joy were raining over himself. Hey man, you're fine. Really, it's okay. Ray patted him on the shoulder. You saved my life, Mr. Ray. And you saved mine. Izuku, we owe each other, Ray reassured. Izuku, from that day forward, Izuku reminisced. I pledged to follow in his footsteps. He was my hero. Remy had brought a handkerchief for Izuku and wiped away his tears. Thanks. It's Remy. Oh, Izuku looked at Remy. She's surprisingly really cute. You feeling better now, Izuku? Yeah, I'm fine. You sure? I'm fine, Izuku said a bit nervously. Okay, I'm just making sure. Anyways, Ray had said. So, Izuku, how do you feel for dinner? What? Mr. Ray, you don't need to. Nonsense. It's my treat. Izuku's stomach grumbled. And quit it with the Mr. stuff. I ain't that much older than you, kid. Right. Ray, Remy, and Izuku had then eaten some food. Man, that hit the spot, Ray had proclaimed. Yeah, no joke, Remy had said. Izuku had thanked Ray for his treat. So, Izuku, Ray said. How old are you anyways? Me? I'm 13. I'm in my last year of middle school. Oh, Remy is as well. So what high school you plan to head into? Wellston, actually. Wellston? Well, looks like you're in luck. I go there as well. And I'm in my third year. And next year is my last year there. So, that's great. I guess. So, what's your ability? Remy had asked. If you save my elder brother as he claims, then you must be pretty powerful yourself, Remy said. I'm a cripple. Oh. Sorry. I didn't... It's fine, really, Izuku said. Why do you do something so stupid like save Ray? Why? I don't know if you're heroic or suicidal. Thanks for saving him, Remy said. She just lectured me and thanked me. A few months later, Izuku, John, Adrian, and Claire were still together. They were still friends after all. Of course, Izuku never told them how he was saved by Ray, as they were still friends. Claire had a vision. It was of John awakening his ability. Claire had grabbed Izuku, and Claire, Izuku said nervously. You can't guess what happened. What is it? Already Claire said as they were running towards John's house. It's John! I had a vision. John, She started running. Slow down. What is it? John, he awakened an ability. What? Aren't you happy? Claire had asked. Yeah, of course, Izuku said, but he was unsure how to feel about this. If this was true, then John would have no need for him. His closest friend would abandon him. No, don't think like that. Of course not. After Claire had arrived at John's place, she had told him the good news. John was ecstatic to hear this, but Izuku was at war with himself. He doesn't know whether he should be happy or jealous of his best friend, if John is a late bloomer. Then what happens to our friendship? What happens to us? Will I be the one? Will I be the weakest of links? I mean, John suffered the same amount as I have, so why should I be the one jealous? Come on, Izuku Midoriya, you should be proud it's the person you have by your side. Izuku screams internally. Time passed once again, and John, as Claire said, awakened his ability. Izuku then thought to himself, this is John's day of reckoning. Izuku saw John awakening his ability. John's friend, after running into Oliver's crew, he had awakened his ability. He shot some ray-like energy blast, but it was too weak for any self-defense. Izuku was shocked, and this would mean that, Izuku said, this would mean that I would be the weakest. Another few months later. It was summer break. Izuku looked a lot different from last time we had seen our protagonist. He seemed to have lost some weight and got a little thinner. His eyes seemed to have lost that fire in his eyes, as they now have a deadpan look to them. His trademark green messy hair grew out into unkept length. His eyes had gotten tired. There were bags indicating that he hadn't gotten a lot of sleep. Oh hey Izu, John had called out to him. What's up, man? The four of them had just gotten done helping John out with his ability for today. You okay, Izuku? John asked his friend. I'm fine. The summer heat is just getting to me, that's all. Oh yeah, I feel ya, John had said. So you've grown out your hair? Izuku muttered. Yeah. Claire, Adrian had wanted to know what's up with Izuku. Maybe he's been studying for the Wilson entrance exams. I mean, it's a top school, so maybe that's why he looks so tired. Claire had wondered. Izuku has been thinking about the past few months. John has been progressing so fast. Fair of note here, John has progressed a lot quicker than he would in the original. As Izuku, due to his books on abilities and him coming to realize a lot sooner that John's ability could copy, which led him to test out a lot more theories, he'd be a lot more stronger than in canon. Well, I'll see you soon, John said. Bye, Izu, Adrian as he left with John. Izuku had walked, as he left the trio. Sooner or later, he was going to be a liability. The gap between John and I was non-existent. Back when he didn't have an ability, that is. Izuku wonders what could he do? What can he do? He was a cripple. A powerless Deku. John and him wouldn't be any more different. He was now officially the weakest of the group. He has no ability. Not even a weak or useless one. Why? Why did Izuku walk aimlessly home? Why did he have to suffer? Why did he have to be the one who's powerless? I didn't do anything wrong. I studied and suffered, and I don't think God is giving me something I couldn't handle, so why? It started to rain. The rain had drenched Izuku in his clothes, wetting up his hair, and dripping down on his being. Why, God? Why couldn't you give me power like everyone else? It's not fair! I don't deserve any of this! Izuku smashed his hands to the ground as the rain poured over Izuku. It's just not fair. Izuku doesn't know how to feel. Izuku said somberly. He doesn't know what's right anymore. He doesn't know how to feel anymore. An umbrella was covering him. You look like you could use a hand, son. Izuku had arrived at his house. William, aka John's father, had brought him to his place. Thanks again, William. Really, Inko said as she bowed her head. Oh, it's no problem. Just helping young Izuku out, you know? Anyways, they chatted and Izuku was in the bathroom, cleaning himself. William and Inko had talked, and William had left Inko something. Oh? Inko said, "What's this?" "It's a new book I've been working on, Inko. It's complete and I decided to give this to you. For you and little Izuku to read. This hasn't been publicly released yet, so don't tell anyone. I won't be planning to release this till next year, But here, I haven't decided on the title of the book yet, so if you got any ideas, you know where to find me. Bye! William ran off. Izuku, after coming out of the shower, headed straight to bed. A few days later, Inko had finished reading William's book. She enjoyed the story of the book and wanted to give it to Izuku as he thinks that he might like it. Izuku went in his room, still sporting a depressed face. Izuku, honey? Yes, Mom? Here. What's this? It's a book, silly. I can see that, but where's the title? Izuku wondered. How the hell was this book supposed to cure him of his crippling depression, envy, and the whole can of other mental bullshit that was his life? The thought of throwing the unnamed book at Inko crossed his mind, but he chose to listen to his mother and give it a chance. Just give it a chance, Izuku, please. Okay, Mom. I'll read it. Oh. Okay. Inko had walked out. Izuku decided to read the book. It's not like he has anything else better to do, and he already did his fair share of studying for today. This must be Mr. Williams' book. Interesting. As Izuku opened up the figure for the first time, his eyes lit up. His once lifeless and cold eyes were filled with vigor, once more as if he were a child. The turning of each page, the need to know what happens next, it just riled Izuku up so much. The vigor in Izuku's life was restored once again. He couldn't even put the book down if he wanted to. For the next few days, Izuku read the book. He was trapped inside of his room for good reasons this time. He immediately realized something about the main character who goes around saving people with his ability. And in his world, they were all cripples except him. He saved people with a smile on his face, quite like Ray did those months ago when he met him. He couldn't just call this book. He wanted to give it a name for the next time he sees William or speaks to him. He'll tell him what to name his magnum opus of his literature. His magnum opus of literature is. I think he should call it. Yeah, I have a good name. What about UnOrdinary? Yeah, that sticks out. UnOrdinary because the protagonist's world is quite unordinary compared to ours. A world where he saves others with his power, and a world that has betrayed his powerless at one compared to mine. Yeah, UnOrdinary. A month later, it was August. Izuku's birthday had passed, and he had since last month decided to take a better care of himself. His long, unkempt hair was now tied into a ponytail. He started to train a lot more. His height was 5'7", and he wasn't that tall, but tall enough. He started to train a lot. Although he was still coming to terms with lack of powers, he was feeling a lot better, and was learning how to accept that John is currently stronger than him. He was going to be strong even without an ability. But he's been thinking as of late. Yeah, sure, he could be strong without an ability like John's father. And while, yeah, he studies his abilities and whenever, it just isn't like he didn't study other ways of fighting over the years. So maybe he just needs to combine everything he knows so far and use that to emulate his own unique way of fighting without an ability. So Izuku studied ability users and started to notice the way they fought with their abilities. He more or less emulated this with the lack of an ability and tailored it to him. Cut out all the unnecessary shit and added all the necessary stuff that he needs for him. Basically, he took Bruce Lee's quote, adapt what is useful, discard what is not, and add what is uniquely your own. So certain abilities, most of them he analyzed, were strength enhancement and other abilities that were not hard to follow. He wanted to do more for summer break. He noticed that maybe he could become some type of superhero. He has heard of rumors of vigilantes as of late, like someone named the Crawler. Vigilantism wasn't really popular nor heard of as much. Izuku knows this. He wants to do more. Of course, after reading UnOrdinary, he was inspired. So he was gonna be a hero. So later on, after a day of hanging out with his friends, he decided to sneak out in a dark hoodie and some gloves and a basic face mask to cover his face. He decided to sneak out. Today was a day, of course. He's not so sure what he should do first. He did search up some of the districts and he put 2 and 2 together for his deduction skills. He decided to travel through. For the first mission, this might go out of plan. He decided to go to a small, low-tier district in Boston. Okay, I'm here. I set a timer for 180 minutes. Yeah, 180. That should give me enough time to come back from this. An hour later, Izuku had now decided to chase after some group of punks. They were trying to kidnap some girl. A girl screamed. Damn it. He was going to save her. Izuku trailed the thugs and arrived at a warehouse. Great. Just great, Izuku said. This went from 0 to 100 real quick, but I like it this way. Meanwhile, the thugs. Okay, I think we can get her parents to pay off this ransom. The thug said, really? I hope so, man. Shut up and quit that damn whimpering you too, you bitch. A rough voice said. Okay, Midoriya, what's the plan? Alright, that girl's in trouble, but what do I do? I don't know what their abilities are, so I can't get a good grasp on their abilities. Izuku sit there and watch. This is your time to shine. Izuku broke through the window and went running in the situation. And who the hell are you supposed to be? Little Link would ask. Me? I'm just a stylish thug slayer. Stylish thug slayer? Was that the best he could come up with? Izuku screams internally, but keeps his composure. Stylish thug slayer, huh? More like dead slayer! The thug came with a right hook. Izuku threw him. Okay. Alright. I've taught him into using his ability. Come on, you can try harder. The thug tried to hit him again, but Izuku ducked. It's time to attack. Alright, here it goes. Emulation time. Katsuki's right hook. He copied Katsuki's right hook and it landed. You little... Okay, what's the ability? Come on, take the bait. The burly man activated his ability. It's something I can handle. Alright, Dead Slayer, eat this! The grunt summons a saber. An energy blade to be more precise. It was a small but easy to cut with. Izuku could tell that, yeah, it can't cut through solid steel. Okay, Izuku. And then your feet. He's coming. Izuku reacted quickly and dodged the first 2 attacks. Those tiny things, you think you could kill me with those, mister? He came at him all irrational with blades. Okay, now! Izuku drew him into a sneak attack. He backfisted the grunt and then pulled his fist into another straight. The guy choked on his spit. He then took a crowbar and smacked him in the head with it. Oh, that's a home run. Okay, I can do this. You can do this. I can be like Ray and him, Izuku screamed out. Who's next? Oh, you took out that gangster? Bravo, bravo. Man, this feels like you might be some fun, partner said. He was slightly bigger and ran at Izuku. Oh shit, he's coming. He took the crowbar and ducked. As Izuku ducked, he then said, eat this! The thug hit Izuku. He stumbled a bit. Shit, that hurts. He couldn't guard that last blow. He just can't. Izuku started hitting him with the crowbars and used them as makeshift tauntless. He hit him again, but Izuku ducked just in time. Alright, come on, where's that What was that counter I see those guys doing in the tournaments? Remember, Izuku Midoriya, you're not a useless Deku anymore. He went in for the attack until the man screamed. It was a sonic scream. He covered his ears. The sound was quite irritating as he could barely hear the attack coming. Shit, I can barely hear anything. Izuku could see his enemy, but not hear. He's losing his sense of balance. The enemy was coming fast at him, and if he gets hit, he's done for. Move! Izuku! He slipped a punch. Barely. And it grazed his eye. Die, brat! He screamed again. Izuku ducked and Izuku ducked and tried to hit him with the crowbar. Izuku had to end this fight. Fast. But with his lack of ability, and him getting pummeled was not his way of dying. So what if he dies here? If he dies here, he dies. There's no doubt about that. His life is just that. Useless. Izuku took another punch. He has to fight like his life means something for the first time. Izuku crouched down. His opponent doesn't care. That's all. Dying? He was going to have to play dirty. Izuku stomped on his foot and tackled his body. Alright then! Izuku was pushed back as he remembered everything that happened throughout his life. His depression, his shunning, his suffering. He's going to win. He's done being a loser. A guy who's weak, a guy who can't smile for himself, but a life of him a weak piece of crap, that ain't me! Izuku gritted his teeth. He's content with death, and he'll face it at head-on with a smile like he would. Izuku overcame the man as he went for the risky cross-counter.
Cross-counter!
Izuku's eyes glowed up. They were a bright emerald green. As the man tried to scream, Izuku took a brick during the counter and shoved it in the man's mouth and knocked him down. Izuku Midoriya had awakened his ability to win. He won as the man was knocked out. He used a cross-counter as bait. The arm he exchanged with initially was the one with the crowbar, but the other he had discarded in exchange for a brick to shove down the man's mouth. By doing that, he had to sacrifice a bit of his body for winning conditions. It was risky, but he did it. He won. It was risky, but rewarding. That was the first time Izuku Midoriya he won. And that was the first time I had unconsciously awakened my ability. For those events, I had saved that girl, whose name was Agakure. I had unconsciously awakened my ability. We now see Izuku on his bed. It's been a week since he started his path to be a vigilante, and boy was it tough. He now just discovered he has an ability. It seems like a basic strength enhancement. Of course, he told it to John. What? You serious? Izu, you have an ability? John was all excited as he activated his ability. Alright, so how did you awaken it anyways? Oh, bullies! Izuku lied as John probed him. Friend and John looked at Izuku with minor suspicion, but decided against it. That doesn't matter, Izuku. Let's train! We gotta discover the ins and outs of that ability of yours. John said with a smile. For the rest of that summer, I trained my hardest with John and Adrian. At that time, I had to experiment heavily. I had issues controlling my ability and whatnot. John and I quickly came to the conclusion that I needed to train my body, physically, and not go all out unless I'm sure my body can handle it. It's why he told me to prioritize my physical training as a top priority. Of course, in one of our sparring sessions, John had noticed I wasn't letting my ability enhance my body entirely. He had copied my ability to show me. He told me I needed to let the power flow through my entire body, instead of putting it all in one place like my arm. John had also told me to split up my usage of power into percentiles. Overall, I became a lot stronger in such a short amount of time, Izuku said. But then, I had to go to Wellston here. So, it's my last week here. Huh, Izuku said. Izuku walked to the neighborhood. After this week, I will go to Wellston. Man, it sucks. I wish I could stay here longer. This place is my home despite the shit I went through. Izuku said. Don't act like it's goodbye forever, Izuku. Yeah, I'm gonna miss spending time with you guys. It isn't goodbye, Izuku. It's until we meet again. Right? John said. Right, Izu? John said after finishing up his ice pop. I have a goodbye present for you. Izuku perked up. What is it? As they arrived at a very familiar place. This was the sparring grounds they used to spar and for John and Izuku to train his ability. It was fun, wasn't it? John said. All those years we spent together and now I have to say goodbye to the person I consider my best friend. John said. Hey, Izu. I'm glad I met you. I am as well, Izuku said. Want to have one last match? John suggested. One last match. Claire and Adrian are watching them. One last match. Fine. One last match. Between you and me, Izu. No hard feelings if one of us loses, right? Okay, if you want me to fight you that bad. Izuku replied back. Then it's decided. Izuku and John got up and made distance in the middle of the sparring grounds they were in. Adrian and Claire decided to watch the match unfold. 3, 2, 1. Let's go! Izuku and John immediately activated their abilities. Izuku activated full counting at 5%, and John immediately attached with Bakugo's ability. An explosion was heard. You just had to use Katsuki's ability, huh, John? Izuku pulled back. Sorry, Izu. You really thought I'd let you win so easily? Izuku then pulled back with a punch. John made a brief puff of smoke and then he switched to Adrian's ability. He immediately closed the distance. They clashed. Sorry, Izu. Don't think I'm gonna let you win. We didn't have it any other way, John. Yeah. Izuku then came up with another punch, and then baited John into a hand-to-hand fight. Why would Izuku bait John into a hand-to-hand fight, wouldn't I ask? To obviously plan something. He's analyzed John's ability over the months, so he knows how it works, for the most part. Izuku then went to a no-guard stance. As he relied on the mobility of full cowling, and then dodged some punches, he ducked and dodged some punches and parried them. Izuku went for a back fist, and then baited John some more of it, which irritated him. Alright now. This is it. Right now, it's time for a cross counter!
Cross counter!
John and Izuku exchanged blows simultaneously. Then a gruesome sound was heard. John's fist was engraved in Izuku's face, and so was Izuku's fist was engraved in John's face. Obviously, Izuku next spin to reduce some of the impact. As John was hiding his jaw, he had a pissed expression on his face. Okay, Izuku. He spats out some blood. Looks like you did get strong after all. John immediately switched back to Bakugo's ability. He compressed the sweat into his palms, and as it was an incomplete AP shot, Izuku dodged. Just in time. You, Izuku said as he glared at John. John stuck his tongue at Izuku. Nah, don't treat this like a game, John. Izuku came mad at John and they clashed. The two friends clashed. Come on, John, you can do better than that. John punched Izuku in the face. Izuku didn't counter for another punch. They were both grinning. This fight was purely for fun. Izuku then went for a smash! John dodged and used all of his ability and Baku's ability. It blinded Izuku briefly, and then John went in and pointed a beam at Izuku's head. Give up, Izuku? Give up. Sorry, that ain't a vocabulary word in my book. Izuku went into a rotation and went for a new Boston Smash, which was him rotating behind John and pinning him down with his strength at 8%. As Izuku then restrained John, they both evolved in this fight. Alright, John, do you give up? Izuku said as he looked John into his eyes. Alright, I give up. Can you let go before people get the wrong idea already? Right. Sorry. It was really close. It was a close fight, huh? John said. Right back at you. It could have gone either way. I guess so. Izuku? Izuku Midoriya, I'll miss you. John gave Izuku an oddly placed hug. Right back at you, buddy. As Clan Adrian came running towards John and Izuku, the screen fades to black. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed my newest video of My UnOrdinary Academia. This is my first time at the podcasting, and this is Anime Mafia, signing out now. Leave a like, subscribe, goodbye.